All right, what's going on, ladies and gents? I'm back today. I have a bunch of questions that I gathered from a bunch of friends on Instagram. And yeah, I'm just gonna start yapping, and hopefully, this will lead us to a good conversation. Um, Before I answer any questions or raise any of these talking points, I want to preface this by saying I'm no expert on anything by any means whatsoever. In fact, I'm quite literally the opposite. um, and I'm a yapper. I like to yap, so that's what this is for. So don't take this as advice. You could take it as advice, whatever resonates with you. Um, but yeah, I asked a bunch of my closest, nearest, and dearest friends for some questions. And so all of these questions are from people that I really genuinely care about and love dearly. So I'm very excited to begin. So, first question is from Alex. Alex Kohanchi, my brother that I've known for a very long time. Um, Absolute homie. I love this guy. And his question is, how plausible is keeping kosher in LA nowadays? So, this is a fantastic question because I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. And my perspective on this is that if you are in Los Angeles, there's absolutely zero excuse not to keep kosher if you want to, right? Especially where I am right now. This is Pico Boulevard. I live right across the street from the OU, where they put the OU sign. Orthodox Union is right there. I can look at it like right now. And so on this street in particular, this street, I would say 99 out of 100 restaurants and markets are all glatt kosher. So if you're in Los Angeles, there's absolutely no excuse. Okay, this is just to say the city. So the city, I understand this is just one very densely populated area that is has this privilege. If you're in the valley, there are plenty of restaurants that are kosher. Just maybe not as much, but they're still around. Tel Aviv Grill, Melrose Burger, PSY, whatever the heck it's called, Side Kitchen, Tel Aviv Tapas. There's so many kosher restaurants that are in the valley. So in terms of Los Angeles, there's no excuse. Furthermore, there's literally dedicated kosher markets that you can go and get kosher meat and kosher produce and groceries and everything from. So if obviously you're not going to go to a restaurant like every meal. So in terms of that, if you want to keep kosher, there's really no way not to. I want to take this a little further and say that if you're outside of Los Angeles, there's still almost no excuse if you want to keep kosher. I would say if you go to most Trader Joe's, most regular Trader Joe's that you go to, most of their stuff has OU on them. In terms of meat, a lot of them have kosher meat. I forgot what, I think it's called Empire. Kosher chicken. You can get kosher chicken pretty much anywhere. Even in like the most random middle of nowhere places, I've tested the theory you can get kosher meat literally anywhere. If you want to get steak, that is a little bit more problematic in middle of nowhere. I'm saying this because I'm literally considering going to Arkansas. So we'll talk about that another day. But yeah, like if you go to any regular Trader Joe's, they have ribeye steak, they have filet mignon, they have ground beef, they have all these, there's turkey, kosher turkey. So kosher meat, zero problem. OU Hechsher is on a lot of stuff. So in LA, it's pretty much handed to you on a silver platter, and I honestly think sometimes I feel like it's a test to see if people are actually gonna do it. Tested by the heavens, whatever. But LA, there's no excuse. Outside of LA, slightly harder, but still doable. That just means if you're in some random place, like middle of nowhere, Arkansas, Alabama, whatever the heck, then you might not be able to go to every restaurant. You might not be able to go to any restaurant, and that's just how life goes. If you know me, I rarely eat out. If people are saying we're going to In-N-Out, it's rarely times I'm going. But yeah, so that is that for Alex's question about kosher. Now, next question we got from Ethan Winterstein. Another, once again, brother. I absolutely love this fella. Um, and yeah, he is asking, or he says, using your religion to remain resilient when times are tough. Now, this is just, we can just go on and on about this, but what I want to, there's really two main parts to answer this question, right? Um, I'll touch a little bit more about the second part in the next question, or next talking point. But to begin, I want to start to get into the really nitty gritty of Jewish stuff. So I know a lot of people have heard of, maybe haven't, but there's very common Jewish terms, emuna, bitachon, and yeah, emuna and bitachon. These are the two like huge keys of Judaism, and it's basically trust and faith. And so a lot of Judaism and spirituality really boils down to just trusting in things that are going to work out, right? Like a lot of things we realize that we don't have complete answers for, and especially like things with October 7th, right? Like we don't know why things happen, but a lot of prayer comes down to just truly believing that things are going to work out in the end. And if it hasn't worked out yet, then it's not the end. So I'm not so good at using my religion for this purpose to stay resilient, but I may not be the best person to ask and talk about this, but still a great question nonetheless, or great talking point, let's say. I know like everyone has heard the song Hashem Yitbarach, Hashem Yitbarach Tamid Ohev, what is it? Yeah, Hashem Yitbarach Tamid Ohev Oti Vetamid Ihya Li Rak Tov. So everyone hears the song, it just plays over and over and over again. People are jumping up and down, but I don't think most people know what it means. And to translate, it literally means Hashem Yitbarach, blessed be He, God. Tamid Ohev Oti, He always loves me. Vetamid ihya li rak tov, and I will always have only good. So this is such a powerful song because it really boils down the religion in like a nutshell. If you have complete faith and trust and emunah in Hashem, then at the end of the day things are just going to work out, right? And to take us a little further, it also takes a little bit of an understanding about like why things are set up in the way they are, right? Like for example, why do we bench? Benching is essentially just saying thank you for the food that we've been giving. Birkat Hamazon is literally saying thank you for the bread that we've been given to eat. So thank you for putting food on our plates. So if you want to take this to a super spiritual, universal mumbo jumbo like level, then the way this works is by expressing gratitude, you are elevating yourself to a higher energy. I think the highest possible like frequency or whatever that you can like elevate yourself to is gratitude, right? So when you're operating on this highest frequency, you're thankful for everything. You know, you're thankful for the food that you've been given. You're thankful for the roof under your head. I'm thankful for this air conditioning that's blowing right now in this heat. I'm thankful for this camera and this laptop that I'm using to film. When you're elevated on this highest level of gratitude, more comes into your way, right? And so that's how a lot of this stuff works. And maybe I'll talk a little bit more about October 7th and sort of things like that in to use faith as an example, but let's talk about the Holocaust. When the Holocaust happened, it was 1940s, whatever the case may be, and so the State of Israel became a thing May 14th, 1948. I know that because my birthday is May 14th. So 1948, right after the Holocaust, we get the State of Israel, right? Now Jews have a beautiful, wonderful, flourishing land to live politically, and it's politically recognized, right? So that's huge. So a lot of emunah comes down to recognizing that it's happened in the past, it's going to happen again, right? When like half of our community was wiped out, 6 million Jews were wiped out, off the face of this earth forever, gone. The positive that came out of this was a flourishing, beautiful, promised land that will be feeding us and housing us and giving us a home for the rest of eternity, right? So if understanding like this, like the laws of the universe and stuff really helps like integrate using religion to help like fund your resilience, right? If that makes any sense at all. And so I'm going to touch on this a little bit more in the next question, because once again, I suck at staying resilient when times are tough. Next question is by absolute brother, once again, James, and love this fella tremendously. Once again, like every other guy that I have asked that has brought up a point, James, you're the man. And this talking point is that keys and lessons that have shown you to be strong, however you want to take that. And so I touched on this a little bit in the last question, and it's just I'm gonna break this down into two real parts. First part is saying that, just like I said before, in history things have like broken down and been absolutely detrimental, but on the other side, on the contrary, there has been positive out of it, right? So there's never ever a positive for like lives being lost. I'm never going to say that it was worth 6 million Jews being killed to get a piece of land like politically recognized. It's never like there's never like a cost. There's no cost benefit analysis for this stuff, right? So just understanding yin and yang, right? Like the law of equivalent exchange, whatever it's called. When things go down, you just gotta keep pushing. You gotta stay strong, because at some point things are gonna come back in your favor, right? And so maybe we can relate this to October 7th. When October 7th happened, thousands of people died. People are taken hostage, kidnapped, whatever the case may be. This is obviously horrible, right? But on the flip side, how much stronger has the Jewish community become as of that date, right? October 7th, what, 2023? How many people do you know that have never wrapped tefillin, but decided because of October 7th they're going to do it? How many people do you know have never wanted to keep kosher, but now they want to keep kosher, right? So in terms of religion, we've been strengthened. In terms of community, we've been strengthened. In terms of BMW. In terms of everything, we've been strengthened, right? And so that's like the first half of how I want to address this. The next part is more, I want to say, nihilistic and pessimistic, and it's just that like at some like if you are not strong, okay, let me backtrack. I feel like personally I have just been exposed to so much stuff. Like I've seen it all at my ripe age of Anki years 23. When you get to a level where you see a bunch of stuff, you experience a bunch of stuff, you realize that when you are strong, or when someone is not strong, you force other people to be strong, right? And you can take this however you want to take it. If you're someone that's not being strong, you never want to force someone to be strong, because who wants to be in a position where they have to be strong, right? People want to be soft and relaxed and chill. But if you're not strong yourself, someone is just exactly as I said before, yin and yang, laws of equivalent exchange. If you're not strong, someone else is going to have to be strong. So yeah, laws of equivalent exchange. It could also work in the complete opposite way. So if you are being strong, you can allow someone else to not be strong, right? And so I feel like as a guy, as a man, that's what you want. You want your children, you want the family, you want your partner and everyone to feel like they can relax. They don't have to be strong, they don't have to put on this whole, you know. So this is once again the laws of yin and yang. Let's take this a step further. When it comes to being strong, I feel like a lot of the times as a guy, we almost have no choice, right? And so either you're going to do it or you're going to make your woman be strong. And or your significant other or your whatever is going to be strong, right? And this is the case for a lot, right? When it comes to wealth, if you're not building up the strength and courage to accumulate wealth and accumulate generational freedom, then this burden is going to be placed onto the next generation, your kids, right? And so this person is gonna, your kids are gonna be forced to be strong themselves, and who wants to have that lesson? So seeing things like this has really helped me in that way. On a whole other light, in relationship terms, I think both of us can agree on this, is that things are fleeting at the end of the day. Everything is fleeting, things are temporary, even if however on life goes, like it's gonna end at some point with death, right? Again, this is why I'm saying it could be like nihilistic. So you gotta be strong in knowing that things are gonna end, right? Like at some point, just there's nothing you can do about it, right? So you have no choice once again but to be strong. So this is sort of like the only way I can cope with like certain things that have to do with like being super fleeting, is that like things have proven themselves in the past, and things are gonna end, and you have no choice but to push through it, because what else are you gonna do, right? So I hope this addressed it. I'm looking at the question again to see if I can answer it any differently. And yeah, I think this was awesome. I might open this up to more people in the future. Great points for everyone. Thank you for dropping talking points. And yeah, maybe let's talk about other stuff in the next episode. And yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed. And yeah, peace out.